The markets may be closed, but the business stories are just heating up. I'm Robert Tan. Catch up with us on Business Brief. Here's what's making headlines today. Vice President Sara Duterte says she's not surprised by plans to refile an impeachment complaint. The Board of Investment signs off on 816 billion pesos worth of projects, a boost for jobs and the economy. Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Francis Lim wants a new tiered float rule to lure the country's biggest IPOs. And a credit rating chief economist says the Department of Budget and Management missed red flags in the national budget. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. urges Filipinos to hold on to truth, humility, and compassion, virtues he says reflect the Blessed Virgin Mary. PBBM shares a message marking the solemnity of the Immaculate Conception, a day of deep devotion for many Filipinos. As the nation honors the Holy Mother, the President calls on everyone to follow her example, purity, devotion, and unwavering faith. He says these values can anchor daily life with grace and purpose, especially in uncertain times. Marcos adds, through our intercession, may our leaders be guided by wisdom and discernment, our institutions purified at the roots, and our people united in hope. Vice President Sara Duterte says she's not surprised by plans to refile an impeachment complaint against her. The comment comes after militant coalition Bayan announced it is preparing a new complaint ready to file on February 5, 2026 when the one-year ban expires. Duterte claims the move is a bargaining chip for some lawmakers as they negotiate the 2026 national budget. She also says statements from several legislators show the first complaint was driven not by principle but by price. Vice President Sara Duterte urges Filipinos to stay steadfast in their faith as the nation marks the feast of the Immaculate Conception. In a video message, she encourages the public to reflect on the resilience and humility shown by the Blessed Virgin Mary. Duterte says the celebration should spark hope, unity, and collective action toward a more compassionate Philippines.
Sa gitna ng mga sakuna, gulo sa politika at sigalot sa lipunan, naway ang selebrasyong ito ay mag-udyok sa atin na magtanim ng pag-asa, magbigay ng suporta sa isa't isa at magtrabaho tungo sa pag-unlad. Let us remain steadfast in our beliefs, align our actions for the common good, and together build a stronger, more compassionate Philippines. Have a meaningful feast of the Immaculate Conception.
The Board of Investments has approved 816 billion pesos in projects from January to November 2025. Trade Secretary Cristina Roque says the new projects will create more than 32,000 direct jobs. The energy and infrastructure sector takes the biggest slice, about 480 billion pesos. Roque adds the DTI is now reviewing 10 strategic projects worth over 1 trillion. These include 3 hydroelectric plants, 4 offshore wind projects, 2 air transport service projects, and 1 transport infrastructure project. The DTI says it remains committed to positioning the Philippines as a prime investment hub for EV manufacturing, smart factories, renewable energy, high-tech agriculture, and data centers. Motorists should brace for higher gas prices this week. Oil companies will raise gasoline by 1.20 pesos per liter starting Tuesday. With the hike, pump prices in Metro Manila are expected to range from 52.95 pesos to 73.09 pesos per liter. This marks the second straight weekly increase and the 34th hike this year. Most firms will adjust prices at 6 in the morning. Clean fuel would follow at 4:01 in the afternoon. Diesel and kerosene remain unchanged. We're taking a short break. Stick around. We've got more stories ahead. You're watching Business Brief. Incoming Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or PCCI President Ferrer, outlines a 3-track strategy. government reforms, boosting investments and market opportunities, and upskilling Filipino workers. Ferrer, head of electronics manufacturer Grupo EMS, says he will make PCCI more agile and service-oriented, strengthening its role in positioning the Philippines as a global trade player. His principles: good governance builds trust, trade and investments create opportunities, and skills empower our people to seize them. Ferrer succeeds Nina Mangio, shifting the focus from institutional capacity building to attracting capital, opening markets, and generating jobs. The Securities and Exchange Commission proposes tiered minimum public ownership rules. It would let the biggest companies list with a smaller public float. The move aims to attract bigger listings and improve market liquidity. Under the draft circular, firms over 150 billion pesos must offer 12% of shares, down from 20%, if the float is worth 22.5 billion pesos. Firms 50 to 150 billion pesos need 15%. Firms 1 to 50 billion pesos must maintain 20%. Small firms up to 500 million pesos must list 33%. The SEC says the tiered system protects investors, supports capital formation, and aligns with regional IPO standards. Chairman Francis Lim says the proposal is open for public comments until December 23. And at the same time, the SEC launches iMessage, its new online ticketing platform. It lets users submit and track inquiries, complaints, and service requests in real time. All submissions are centralized and tracked through a unified workflow. Users log in with an eSecure account, pick a service, and fill out the form. The system covers the SEC head office in Makati and all regional offices nationwide. Lim says streamlining processes is key to better business operations and public service. Bilyonaryo scion Sheila Tan Pascual now heads her father, business tycoon Lucio Tan's property holdings in Hong Kong and China. Her leadership marks a new chapter in the family business, overseeing major assets abroad. This follows her reappointment as alternative director of Dynamic Holdings, according to a social media post by a journalist. The 62-year-old was first appointed last June as alternate director to Lucio and Carmen Tan. She was nominated again for the same role in Dynamic's December 15 annual meeting. Pascual has served as director of family-owned PAL Holdings since 2021 and the Philippine National Bank since 2019. Her experience spans both aviation and banking, highlighting her role in the Tan family's corporate empire. A lot of responsibility for the flood control corruption scandal falls on the Department of Budget and Management. On BNC's Business 360, Credit Rating and Investor Services Philippines Chief Economist Emmanuel Leco says the DBM failed its core duty, policing government spending and flagging misaligned budgets. He adds that former DBM Secretary Amena Pangandaman's resignation should have come much earlier.
I thought that was a long overdue resignation. Once she said, or once she made the declaration that the mandate of the DBM was only to consolidate, I think she misread the mandate of the department that she was supposed to be leading. Department of Budget and Management was supposed to not only to consolidate.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be gatekeepers.
Of the inflows and the outflows.
Exactly. And they were supposed to align the budget with the medium-term national program. If they see it as not aligned, they should have blew the whistle right there and there.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think a lot of culpability rests on the DBM.
Leco also warns that the Philippine economy is not looking brighter anytime soon. He urges the government to take stronger action in response to the corruption scandal rocking the country. SM Investments Jose CEO has been named an honorary life member of the Philippine Institute of Certified Public Accountants. The award honors over 20 years of service and leadership in accountancy. CEO, a former CFO turned chairman, helped lead SM's 2005 IPO, the largest in Philippine history for 15 years, and pushed the company to a 1 trillion peso market cap. He also holds key directorships, chairs the SM Foundation, and says accountancy is vital for building trust in Philippine business. The Commission on Audit warns that PhilHealth is in trouble after a 60 billion peso reserve fund depletion and unpaid government subsidies. No subsidy was released for 2025 and senior citizens got nothing from the 40.23 billion peso earmarked for indirect contributors. In 2024, PhilHealth received only 9.34 billion pesos of its 61.5 billion peso budget. Benefit package improvements were also unfunded. Lawmakers are now proposing to cut the UHC premium rate from 5 to 3.25%, rising to 4% in 2028. Playtime launches a new holding company, Playtime Entertainment. The move expands the firm beyond gaming into a broader mix of entertainment and digital lifestyle businesses. As part of the reorganization, gaming operations moved to a new standalone unit called PT Gaming. It will have its own management team and full P&L responsibility. The company says its tech and digital capabilities will guide careful growth into digital content, sports-themed projects, and AI-powered creative platforms. The goal, a connected entertainment ecosystem. The social climbing wife of a former high-ranking government executive is making headlines, and babblers say she and her family are the real powder keg. Since her husband entered government, she's been living like she hit the jackpot. Jet-setting designer halls, boutiques abroad, where she allegedly drops a civil servant's entire yearly pay in one swipe. Endless high-end facials to keep up with the crowd she's desperate to impress. But the luxury isn't the shocker, it's the attitude. Babblers say she's pure entitlement, always late to flights, delaying airlines with last-minute shopping. And everyone knows this, her husband's government salary cannot and does not fund that lifestyle. The real money trail? Babblers say it runs through the social climbing wife's family, a clan of tax lawyers allegedly turning the agency into their private playground. Troubled businessmen were allegedly funneled to her father through her brother, who reportedly took up to a 20% success fee. The social climbing wife, babblers say, merely reaps the benefit of her family's network. And that's how her side of the family managed to snap up a home in an ultra-exclusive Metro Manila village and even secure a hidden European getaway in Madrid, Spain. Her brothers are also said to have strong ties to a high-profile power player, a connection that kept the family untouchable though babblers say that walls are starting to close in. The husband remains in the picture, now navigating the fallout of social climbing wife's family he can't control and carrying the weight of schemes. With public fury growing over corruption, lavish living, and families who treat government like a cash cow, babblers warn the clock is ticking. When the floor drops, it won't just be loud, it will crash down on anyone still clinging to that high-flying lifestyle. We're taking another short break. Up next, a quick look at how Philippine shares closed today. That and more when Business Brief returns. Stay with us. Shares are mixed in Asia as investors remain cautious ahead of this week's Federal Reserve interest rate decision. Japan's Nikkei 225 is flat, while Hong Kong Hang Seng, Singapore's Straits Times, and Australia's ASX 200 are trading lower. South Korea's Kospi and China's Shanghai Composite are moving higher. And on currencies, the US dollar weakens against the Japanese yen, South Korean won, and Thai baht, while it remains steady against the Hong Kong dollar and Singapore dollar. The Australian dollar strengthens against the greenback. In commodities, gold is flat with a slight downward bias while oil prices move higher. In crypto, Bitcoin slips by less than 0.1%, while Ethereum gains nearly 2%. China's exports surged by 5.9% in November, beating forecasts and rebounding from a drop the previous month. This as shipments pivoted toward non-U.S. markets like the EU, Australia, and Southeast Asia. Meanwhile, imports rose just 1.9%, falling short of expectations and underscoring weak domestic demand, especially in segments tied to construction and manufacturing. This resulted in a record monthly trade surplus of about $111.7 billion US. This pushed the year-to-date surplus past the $1 trillion mark for the first time. Analysts, however, warned that while exports remain resilient thanks to global rerouting, continued softness in domestic demand and shrinking factory orders hint at potential headwinds for Chinese manufacturers in 2026. And that's a wrap for today's Business Brief. I'm Robert San. Join us again tomorrow for the stories that help you plan your next big bold moves in business. Only here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.